Individual Factors of Nonverbal Communication, a presentation by Michelle Titmarsh and Lee Brotherston. Nonverbal communication is the process of sending and receiving messages that are wordless. That is, they rely on gestures, for example, body language, posture, eye contact, and facial expression. However, this presentation focuses specifically on individual nonverbal communication factors. These include voice, touch, physical attractiveness, and clothing. All of these topics will be discussed in detail. Voice. At first thought, voice likely does sound as though it would be a nonverbal factor. However, there is a lot of information contained in someone's voice besides simply the words they say. This is referred to as paralanguage. The non-linguistic meaning of vocal expression, which include rate, volume, tone, and pitch. For example, by emphasizing different words in a sentence, it is possible to make a sentence convey different meanings. Researchers have developed a method of proving the importance of paralanguage by electronically altering the words in a sentence so they are no longer recognizable. But by maintaining the paralanguage, listeners can still reliably tell which emotions are being expressed. For example, when traveling abroad and there is a language barrier, you can still tell when someone is happy or angry with you, despite not understanding what they say. Another important example of paralanguage is sarcasm. The content of our messages can say one thing, while our tone of voice can say something completely different. Touch. Communication by touching is also called haptics. Several different messages can be sent using touch, such as social or politeness, which include a high five or a handshake, friendship, which include a pat on the back or a hug, sexual arousal, which include kisses and caressing, and anger or aggression, which include pushes and shoves. There is a variety of variables that determine what a specific touch might mean. These include the part of the body being touched, the part of the body doing the touching, the duration of touch, the pressure applied, whether or not movement after contact is made, whether or not anyone else is present, the context in which the touch happens, the relationship between those involved. Although many different messages can be sent or received using touch exclusively, there is an element of ambiguity that cause serious problems. For example, a simple hug can be a polite or playful act, or it can be suggestive of something stronger, such as a romantic gesture. Touch is so important, in fact, that some researchers have demonstrated that touch can help improve the mood of depressed people, increase the immune response in cancer patients, and help premature babies gain weight. Physical attractiveness. Physical attractiveness may seem like a shallow or unfair factor of nonverbal communication, but it is nonetheless an important one. For example, women who are perceived as attractive get more dates, better grades, and less harsh punishment in court. Men who are taller get higher salaries and more jobs. Even children as young as preschoolers select friends and enemies based on physical appearance. However, likely more than any other factor of nonverbal communication, we can change our perceptions on physical attractiveness. We must simply ignore our preconceived notions about beauty. Clothing. Clothing is, in the most basic form, is there to protect us from the elements. We are able to inhabit as much of the planet as we do because of our clothing. If it weren't for warm clothes, we would be limited to the equatorial regions of the planet. Nowadays, though, clothing plays an even greater role in our lives. Clothing is able to convey messages such as trustworthiness, socio-economic background, education background, level of success, and moral character. Whether or not all of these messages are apparent to everyone is debatable, but what is not debatable is that our clothing can affect the way we are treated. People generally respond more favorably to those who are dressed in professional attire, compared to those who dressed in casual clothes. Despite this, our assumptions may not always be accurate. For example, Tony Hush is the CEO of the online store Zappos.com. His net worth is valued well over $250 million, yet he doesn't actually own his own suit. He borrows his brother's whenever he is required to dress up. This example is to show that some of the most successful people may not look the part, and vice versa. In conclusion, when communicating with others, consider which message you are trying to convey. Use your knowledge on nonverbal communication skills to accentuate your message and to solidify your point. Thank you for listening.